I think you were the perfect person to come back to this space with. Because having conversations with you helped me eliminate fear. It helped me eliminate insecurity. And not just me, but so many other people. Like, I keep sharing your TikTok videos, and I'm like, listen to this guy, okay? He might be a bit rough sometimes, but you deserve this. You need to hear what this man has to say. So in me having taken a break for so long from podcasting, I didn't feel like I was in the right space to. I didn't feel worthy of sharing anything. I didn't feel like whatever I was sharing was authentic enough. And I remember I kept asking, when are we recording? When are we recording? And I think the universe just kept giving me answers. So you're not ready. Just breathe and relax. And now is the time, and you are the perfect person to come back to this with.
I love that. I'm blessed and I'm grateful. And like I told you, patience, man. When it happens, it's going to happen. It's going to be organic. It won't be forced. It's just going to be lovely. And we're here now. You know, I think a lot of times, especially when you're doing a podcast, and this is something that I had to tell myself with my own podcast, Sincerely Black Love, is I can't deposit my off energy into people's lives because I know the type of words and energy that comes out of my mouth when I am off kilter, when I'm not okay, when I'm figuring things out. I'm going to put people in that mode of figuring things out, and they trust me for a certain line of thought or a certain line of solutions or a certain line of execution. And I never want to give to people what I'm going through that's going to lend to the burdensomeness of their own processes. You know what I mean? If anything, I want to give people more ease in. I want to transmute ease to people so they borrow that energy and apply it to the whatever is heavy or challenging or a trial in their lives. So we all need to exercise patience in everything, especially when the thing you're doing is worthwhile and it's substantial and it's good and other people are reliant on that thing. We need to be patient in the energy that we deposit into their lives. And so I applaud you for that. So, you know, we're doing good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was so powerful. I did not expect you to jump in so quickly. But you always do anyway.
Me and you, we always in. We like always in. It's not like we have to set ourselves up and like, jumpstart the thing. No, we always in the mode.
From the get-go, that's what it is. People don't understand. Well, not they don't understand, but when I say to people, like, I don't do well with small talk because I don't see the point of it, right? If it's the first time I meet you or whatnot, there's something that draws me to have a conversation with you. I'm not going to ask you, what's your favorite color? No. I want to know you. I want to have a conversation. I want to know your mind. I want to engage. I want to learn from you. And that was,
you know what
is the purpose of this. Yeah.
Of course, small talk. The people gauge whether their presence in your life is going to be them sampling you, or they gauge whether their presence in your life is required to show up as themselves, right?
Yeah.
So when people small talk, and you engage in the small talk, the only thing they're going to do is be small in the regard of you, be small in the activities with you, be small in they and restrict how you experience them as well to the limitations of small talk. Everyone loves saying, I'm going to give you respect when you have the right approach. Small talk is an approach. There's an art to it. There's an art to small talk. There's an art to that approach. And people who can't tolerate small talk obviously are like, no, give me the meat from the gate. I want immersive experiences. No, from the gate. Give me the everything from the gate. And some people are like, the last time I did everything from the gate, I burned. So me, I'm going to small talk sample. That's what
I'm learning, but it's just like, I think it depends on what the small talk is about.
Sure.
What is being
Sure.
asked, and are we building up to something in the small talk, or are we just stuck there and then there's just no substance to it?
But like I'm saying, even the hope of are we building towards something from the small talk it's that whole dating potential, right?
Don't start me with that thing. Don't start me with that thing. We'll get to that potential dating stuff. Yeah.
So it's like dating potential. It's like,
yeah.
I'm not dating the real you. I'm dating what I hope we can become. I'm dating what I hope you're going to be. I'm dating the sales pitch and not the person. Not the salesperson. I'm not dating the salesperson's stuff, the things that motivate him, the things that, you know what I mean, or her.
How do we get past that? Because I feel like I stay dating potential and I don't like it. And I know from the jump that, okay, because also it's easy, I think, for an individual or for me, I can paint a perfect picture of you in my head. And it's a beautiful fantasy. It's this ideal relationship. But what's happening here is nowhere close. So how does one work at protecting themselves from dating potential, protecting themselves from getting into spaces that are not meant for you, or just sitting patiently and saying, okay, my husband will come whenever, or the right, it's not even just relationships, but the right job will come, the right friendship, or this relationship in the family will get solved at a certain time. How does one just work through that?
So dating, my favorite, not so favorite thing. Because I tear it up.
Every time I
tear it up. So dating, in the context of dating, or even in the context of your network, even in the context of your friends, even in the context of entertaining acquaintances, you can only date who you are. You say yes to who you are. That's just it. that's what it is. So for you to stop experiencing who you are in terms of inefficiency, in terms of ill regard, in terms of inconsistency, in terms of lies, in terms of potential, in terms of unmet needs, in terms of insecurities, for you to stop dating people who chaos is arranged that way. You have to stop, you have to deal with your own chaos, because you won't recognize more than that anywhere else. That's why we date potential. We date what looks like more than anyone else. We don't actually date the person who's more than anyone else. I tell women this all the time. Not a single one of you has ever disputed me on this, by the way, and I'm still waiting, right? I say women settle because the idea and the reality of their dream man is so visceral, is so scary, is so intimidating, is so secure that they realize, I'm not ready for that. So I'm going to be with a person who hasn't achieved that yet and build them up so I can grow with them. I can get ready with them, right? You're here, you know, I'm Tehu, I'm this person, I'm da-da-da. This is what I want. You meet the man who matches or is above that, and energy, everything is the safety, the protection, the providence, even the promise of the providence, or even how he carries himself. He's just living, walking providence.
Yeah.
And then you meet him in a conversation with him, and how you feel comes out. The inadequacy, the insecurity, the self-doubt, the lack, the hurts, the trauma, the pains comes out. So your sales pitch to this person, you know, admittedly and inadvertently, becomes self-sabotage, right? And because healed men, ready men, men of character.
Yeah.
Listen to what you say about yourself and judge you based on that. Listen to what you do regarding yourself and listen to that. And they make their judgment of your worth of their time based on that. It's not a conversation. It is the silent conversation.
Yeah.
It's the language, it's the song in between your words.
Yeah.
Right? It's the song in between like ready men that are working on, that are either working on themselves or have worked on themselves and are just ready to settle down and get married. That's what they listen to. Are you the things you say about yourself in your actions, in your deeds, and in your consistency? And if not, they keep it moving. Every woman has a story of meeting the right man who just disappeared. And why did they disappear from spending time with you, from talking to you, or being seen and experienced by you? It's because you sabotaged yourself in the things you said or the things you did or the inconsistency you showed them, right? So once you notice that, oh, we even, like, it's called excusitis, right? Like we do this excusitis, oh, he's out of my league.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I mean? He's out of my league, or he's too much, or he's too opinionated. He thinks he knows, right? Me, I don't want a man who thinks he knows. I don't want a man who has all the answers, right? We do these things to tarnish their image, and in so doing, we lessen their potential. We lessen their character. And in lessening their character, we go for the man who matches the lessness of the character that we chip down. And we settle for him. And when we settle for him, you guys are going to have to excuse me. I'm a dad, okay? I'm in my father trimester. I'm going to hear my baby in the background. So let's tell someone, oh no, podcast episode was so unprofessional. I had no. Calm down,
Listen,
okay?
Yeah.
Black
dad. We are in our own zones here, okay?
This is
we are in our elements.
Conversations. You understand?
Yeah.
So then we have to chip people's value and character down because that's what we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
That's what our pains resonate with. That's what our chaos resonates with. We go for people whose chaos we can manage and blame when we're not healed. So the first thing every single person needs to do, men and women, when you notice that you're dating the same chaos in people, the same dysfunction in people, the same unmet needs in people, you have to deal with your own chaos. You have to deal with your own messes, the mess of making decisions to be with these people. That's what you need to deal with first, because it's pretty unfair to play the victim, and it's pretty unfair to play the victim and then say, I'm deserving and I'm worthy of da 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 da, but the next decision you make on same type of chaos. It's very unfair to say, I'm deserving of da 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 da, and then you get what the thing you say you're deserving of, and you don't even know how to keep it. You don't even know how to sustain it. You don't even know how to maintain it. You don't know how to multiply it. You don't know how to upgrade it. You don't know how to grow in it. You don't know how to water it. You don't know how to function healthily in it. Very unfair. And we function we function and move with unfairness because we fragile. We are victims. We are the perpetrators of the same hurts that were done to us by our past partners who were dealing with their own chaos and they poured it onto us. So we became the chaos that we loved. We became the chaos that we chose. And that's post-traumatic relationship disorders that every single person doesn't want to admit that they have. Every single person that wants to be married or wants to be in a healthy setting, in a healthy relationship, or in a healthy anything, doesn't want to admit to the fact that I have accumulated all this baggage on top of my own childhood baggage, my own unmet needs with my parents, my own parental harm, my own self-sabotage, the fact that I don't have a relationship with myself, and the fact that I burden partners with sorting all these things out for me, with being my father or being my mother or being my wife before the vows or being my husband before the vows. Yeah. You understand? It's very unfair. And we all have to come to a place where we sit down with ourselves. And this is why I love the season of COVID. I don't like the fact that people died, but you know, when it's your time, it's your time. God's ink is dry already. You know, I love the fact that during the season of COVID, we all got to sit down.
2 seconds. This thing wants to kill our vibe. It says our time is running out in 10 minutes. I don't want that. Okay.
Don't worry, we'll do another one.
We'll do another one, yeah. Let me just, if it cuts, then I'll just create another one. I don't want to do upgrading things. I don't want to upgrade.
Are you okay? Okay.
Okay, sorry. There we go.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. So you have to do the work. You have to do that internal work. And people think, well, traditional colonial therapy does take a long time because you're talking to a person who echoes what you're saying back so you can reframe it, right? Holistic therapy is immersive, as in it deals with what you're going through right now, but the main focus and the target is the roots of that pain and the roots of that language and the experiences that you've had. So it's mostly cognitive and it's emotional as well. So it's mental, cognitive, emotional, your feelings. Your feelings matter, but a lot of times they're not based on fact because your mind lies to you a lot, especially when you're functioning with trauma, you know? So you have to do that internal work. You have to choose the kind of therapy that is, choose the type of therapy that's congruent with the life you want to live. You're not living that life yet, but you want to live a holistic life. You want to live a peaceful life. You want to live a life where you know how to regulate your emotions. You know how to regulate your nervous system. You know how to self-soothe. You know how to reparent. You know how to I was like, what's the value of your self-talk to my cohort just yesterday? What's the value of your self-talk, right? When you talk to yourself or talk about yourself or refer to yourself, what's the substance there? What's the energy there? Is it pain? Is it chaos? Is it like, what are you echoing to the world about yourself? Because the thing you echo into the world about yourself is exactly what the world is going to do. Right? So if you're echoing heartbreak, men are trash, that's exactly what you're going to experience because you're accommodating it. That's the energy you're accommodating, right? Now, the internal work that you're doing, choosing the right type of therapy and therapist, choosing the right type of guide to help you with all these things, to be patient with you. Traditional colonial therapy, that is an extensive thing. That's an extensive thing. That's like, its timelines can't really be measured, right? But holistic therapy, you can measure the timelines. It's literally like 10 to 12 months of inner work that get you to a place and space where you're not functioning from the trauma. The blind spots have been dealt with. The triggers aren't there anymore. You're sleeping well, you're eating well. You've come into beautiful routines. You have new habits. You have sustainable habits, beautiful, amazing habits. If you have weight issues, you have your weight in order. You're in love with yourself. Your self-talk is absolutely amazing. Chef's kiss. Oh my God, what are you doing? Jeez. You know, this is amazing. This is the life you gave me with, and I was blind to it. 10 months.
Yes, Lord.
10 months. 10 months of letting God and allowing for yourself to understand how the processes of your mind and thoughts work and how they influence your feelings and how your feelings create dis-ease. And in the dis-ease, there's a certain type of desire that attaches to your decision-making and your choices, the choices you make, right? The amount of money you make, the ceiling, the financial ceiling you have, or this glass castle that you live in, the stones that you cast to other people, and the feelings that you're creating in the world from that self-talk or your actions and your deeds, right? That's holistic therapy. And that's what I do. And that's what my focus is with people. Like and our framework in Batho therapy is relationships, right? Like, so from as early as relationship with your parents to as recent as the amount of money you're making and the businesses you want to get into or the kind of counsel you have, right? Like you have consults. You have the influence console and you have the concern console. So how are you in these consults? What's your position in these consults? Are you leading? Are you following? Are you guiding or are you being guided? And if you're following, where are you going? If you're being guided, where are you being guided to? If you're leading, where are you leading people? If you're guiding, where are you guiding people? You understand? We have so many responsibilities that we're responsible for, and we don't want to be accountable to, because we know we're in a state of chaos, and the nervous systems are in wreck.
So speaking on that, sorry to cut you, speaking on that, what do you say about people who are aware that they need healing, but they feel like this helps me manage my life the way it's going, and I would rather be in this position than have to rework or fix all the traumas or whatever the case is? Like, it has built me and it shaped me as to who I am, the person I am today, and without it, I won't be able to manage that well.
That's saying my trauma is my identity and personality in a nutshell. But if your trauma is your identity and your personality, if your trauma is how you show up and what you're comfortable with, then you're living a lie, because that's not who you are. So there's things that happen to you, granted. You learn how to manage them, granted. That's how you show up, granted. But those things are a moment that you're stretching too far. You're stretching them too far, and that rubber band is going to snap. And when it snaps, the whiplash is going to be incredibly painful. Now God keeps giving you nudges. God keeps sending people into your life that remind, hey, God sends people in your life that you choose and that trigger you, and you leave. Triggers are a reminder, hey, undealt with emotion, that these needs haven't been met yet. And who's responsible for dealing with that and meeting those needs? You are, and you don't do it. You're like, no, I'm comfortable in my chaos. I'm comfortable in my trauma. This is my personality. Without this trauma, I don't know what my life is. But the beautiful thing about challenges and trials and trauma is that these are all opportunities for you to be more, for you to prove yourself to yourself and to your world and to your experience of yourself in this world and everybody else's experience of you in this world, that you are more. You are greater, because you're created like it. You are greater than the moment. The moment passed, by the way, it's dead. It's a dead thing. Now you're continuing death into life, into breath, into existence, into experiences. And in continuing it into your experiences, other people are experiencing that moment that you're stretching. Now you're traumatizing people. You're borrowing your trauma to them. That's not fair. That isn't fair. It's not kind. So if a person knows that they need help, knows they could use with the help, but they're not acting on it, man, life is, they say like God humbles you.
Yeah.
Life becomes the worst karma you could ever have. Because God is going to bless you with the most amazing people, amazing things, amazing experiences, and you're just going to be an empty shell. See anything. You won't see any of it. You're just going to shit on it, unfortunately. The Prophet Muhammad said, is it him or Jesus? I think it's the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says the worst thing in the world is to know you're created by an amazing God, but insist on keeping your heart hard and dark and black and numb. Is to know that life can be beautiful, but choose the ugliness of life. And that's what I compare that to. That's what I compare that to people who know they can get the help, but they don't choose the help. People who use excusitis, right? I'm the victim perpetually, and I'm going to excuse myself from doing the right thing or being the right way for myself and for the people that I love. And I'm going to blame the people that I love in my life for being bad too, even though I know every single day I choose it. Now, crappy you have to be that type of me. You have to have the money. To have money, and Black people only spend money on Black people. We only spend money on what we value the most, but we refuse to spend money on ourselves because we don't value ourselves. We don't value ourselves at all. We spend money on what other. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. I was just saying now, I haven't even introduced you properly. We just went right in it. And all I have to do is ask you one question and it just flows and you answer.
We just go. We just go, please.
Everything. So, mid this conversation, let me introduce you. Or would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Hakeem Anderson-Lesolang?
Hi, my name is Hakeem Anderson.
Hakeem Nakahana.
Like you refuse to call me by my name, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm Boogie to you. It's okay. Only to her. If I hear anyone call me Boogie, I'm charging. Okay. I'm sending an invoice. So to introduce myself, my name is Hakeem Anderson-Lesolang, your go-to holistic transformational therapist. All big words for I can help you with your childhood trauma. I can help you with your life trauma as well.
Yeah.
I'm an author, 2 times bestseller from the boot, from the car boot. Okay, 2-time bestseller. My first book is 200 Truths About Love. Second book is In Rose Water. I'm a father of 3 beautiful girls. I'm a married man. My beautiful wife's name is Batho. I don't have any pets. I don't eat pork. This is all like the things that I don't do. That's just 2. I don't have pets because my beautiful kitten died, and I just don't want that drama in my life and that trauma. And I don't eat pork. That's like the only thing I can't do. Right? Anything else is I'm halal everywhere. What else is there? I'm the founder of Fola University. This merch that you see is our merch. Let God God. Teho supports us incredibly well there. So Fola University is a hub of our clients who are going through similar experiences. And we just created a community because when you're healing and you're in therapy, you do need a community. And we sought to create one for our clients and everyone that follows us. So if you would like to join Fola University, first you have to do inner child healing, and then we'll admit you into Fola University. That's the admission key, right? That's the admission key. The fees and all will be explained as and when we go along. But yeah, man.
In the description.
I forgot to say I'm an artist. I'm an illustrator. And I'm a songwriter. Used to be a rapper.
That's where you should have started, because that's essentially where I know you from and your career. Like, he's an amazing musician. Like, he's an artist of all sorts.
I'm an artist. We run a company called 8344 Creatives, me and my wife. And that's how you get to come to our exhibitions and see the art and actually get into our immersive experiences. NFTs are in the mix now. Web3 development. That's how Web3 is where I create my art. So yeah, man, like we'd like to introduce people to our whole entire world, and like everything that I just mentioned now, all of it is connected. All of it is connected. Currently, I am violent on my social media. Don't know what anyone is talking about, because the violence is where the soul understand, like the source, the truth.
Violence is so harsh.
It's harsh, but it builds you up.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
I just feel like people don't have big brothers, man. And I personally don't like the gatekeeping that happens in the help industry. Not the fault of therapists or anything like that. It's just the way the industry is wired or is geared up. I personally believe people get fleeced when they go to therapy, not knowing what they're dealing with and going through. So my social media is dedicated to that self-awareness, help book, or that the prompt, the self-awareness prompts that make you aware of yourself, that center you and that guides you towards what healthy love or a healthy life, a holistic, wholesome life looks like. And just in the example of me and my wife and my family and the people that I love, just like what a healthy life, like a peaceful life just looks like. You know what I mean? Like just that ideal alone, I think, is what we're lacking on social media and in our world as Black people, that we only focus on Blackness. And so like, that's an introduction to who I am. That's everything that I stand for. I love the Black woman. I love Black men. Like, we are so powerful when we actualize. We are so powerful when we eschew the norm. We are like, yo, we're powerful. It's not a single Black man in my circle. I actually did this as a challenge.
Yeah.
Last year. The 50 men that were in my Apex Mastery program. By the time it was like the 12th month, I said, send one message to 10 women who've experienced the upgrading, the awakening to yourself, your divinity in the last 12 months. Send them a message and see who fights it. And the message was, hey, I would just like to let you know that when I get married, I'm going to have 2 wives. Not a single one of them came back with the women that have experienced them fighting against it. They just wanted to understand how that's going to work, but they didn't fight against it, because when women experience a man who's not functioning in trauma, when they see his tenacity and capacity to manage himself and his world, when they see the power he walks in, when they see that he just has to walk into a room and the whole dynamic changes, the whole dynamic of the room changes. They want to explore that, because that is safety for them. That's security, that the security and safety and providence and protection that women seek, the 5 securities are met by you before, as a man, as a Black man, before you even say anything. Before, just your energy alone, your aura, is going to translate. Now, I'm not saying you should go and say this to Black women without doing the inner work, without doing the physical work, without doing the financial work, without doing the emotional work, without doing the psychological work, without doing the subconscious work. If you're not doing any of these things and you can't teach it to the next person, which is what we do in our therapy, you come to us, I'm going to teach you how to do these things, and I'm going to charge you to teach it to at least 500 to 1,000 people. Because that's how you change the dynamic of your environment. And that's how you measure the quality of people in your life. And you're not going to be teka-taking, and the people in your life are going to be teka-taking and, like, putting it on. You're charging yourself for teaching. Yeah, you're improving your existence is an improvement to your environment. Who you are inside is exactly what you're meeting outside. And if outside is chaotic, scary, and miserable, you just need to look at what you're not regulating and what you're not fixing and what you're not working on and what you're afraid of, where you're afraid of going internally as a Black man and as a Black woman. And so if you want to know about who I am, in a nutshell, that's just what I do. So I take 50 men every single year, from January up until December. There's no other cohort. There's no June cohort that starts mid-year. No, just 50 men. They sign up throughout the year. January 1st, we start, and we hold each other accountable, and we have goals, and we meet those goals as and when we go along, and we are support structure for each other. So that's what we do. And therapy-wise,
I love that so much, because it's amazing to see men hold space for one another. Because some men, when they want to heal, or I've heard guys say, no, women, you need to help men heal. How? You need to help one another heal. And this is a great example of that. And on top of that, it's a thing of some men that are in relationships find it easier to seek counsel outside of their relationships. So now you can't even find that safe space in there. Why not create it with your brothers, so that once you're healed in that space, you can easily go home and talk through things instead of finding it from another woman?
Absolutely. I think men should have counsel. Men should have a board of directors where they get their direction. Men should have outside sounding boards in improving their lives and in improving their processes and in improving their function in their relationships and improving their regulation and improving their strength as well, and improving their conditioning. Because we're not going to lie and say we don't come from harsh conditions. We're not going to lie and say we don't come from a background where our parents did the best they could with what they knew and what they know. Majority of it is filled with toxicity.
Yeah.
It's filled with irresponsibility. It's filled with one partner burdening the other. It's filled with families that are burdening both of the partners, and so they dysregulate the marriage. Let's not lie about that. And we grow up in these conditions. And these conditions create our story. They create our experience of ourselves and our parents and the ones we love. We learn love from these biases. We learn love from these harms. We learn love from these hurts. We learn love from these traumas, right? We learn love from people who have never been given a chance to dream and actualize their dream. We've never been afforded a chance to live a life of purpose. So we became their life of purpose. And in becoming a life of purpose, their instruction of us is riddled with their trauma and their fears and their hurtful experiences. And so how we look at life and the world is filled with those things. And when we engage with each other and our age mates and our peers and our lovers and our partners, this is where the collisions and the dismantling of relationships happen.
Yeah.
We're meeting with all these ideas that are painful and that are hurtful, and they've built in all these insecurities and hurts and unmet needs. And we want our partners to carry these things. We want our partners to know how to carry these things. But your partner can't be everything to you. That when you're traumatized and she's traumatized, you're not even everything to yourself. How do you know what I mean? So how do we expect each other to be in our fullness and give fullness to each other when we're not operating in that fullness, when we don't have a know? So that's what we try to do with our programs. And I've gotten a lot of interest in rolling them out in churches, a lot of interest in rolling them out in schools, a lot of interest in rolling them out in corporate as well. I just need to see that commitment. I need to see, for me to work with anyone, there has to be a level of commitment to improving on yourself that I need to see personally, right? Because 12 years of working with people, our people in our communities, I know when you're not serious about it. I know when you're looking for a panado situation. I know when you're looking for a bandage. And I know when you're looking for real solutions that you want to implement in your life. I know when you actually are committed to yourself and are committed to the changes that have to happen. I know when you're committed to, I know when you've seen, there's a glimpse, there's a thing that you tasted in somewhere. It could be that 3 a.m. wake up spell where you like cried and you asked God and you made promises and you promised yourself, or there's a new girl in your life, or there's a brother, or there's a this or that. Your mom is in hospital and you're like, I can't live an unfulfilled life, and my mom doesn't experience the glory that she raised in this world and she trusted me with. I can't have my father, his whole entire life of him enriching me and building me be fiddled into nothing. I want more, and I want the world to experience the more that I know I am. I don't know how to get there, so I'm going to seek the help to actualize that, right? I'll do anything and everything to become that version of myself. That's the level of commitment I want to see from pastors, from leaders, from influencers, from people that want greatness for their life, for people that know there's a Godhead and there's authority over them. And this authority is like the blueprint is the blueprint. There's success is success. It's replicatable. It's there, dude. Like if I did it, you can do it. You're gonna do it faster than I did it because I had to figure it out on my own. Yeah. Right? That's basically what we do, man. I talk too much, so please stop me. Please interject.
And can I tell you, I haven't even started the questions that I have for you, Nick. But what I love is that in you describing what you do, describing who you are, describing the content you share, it's easier for me to jump in and say, okay, you mentioned this, and so I share your videos a lot, and it's amazing for me to hear from a guy speak in a protective way towards women, speak in a way of saying, men, be aware of your greatness, stand in it, women, the same thing. So sometimes when I share it, and not just you, but there's so many other guys on TikTok specifically that share content similar to yours, and you'll have certain guys saying, yeah, but these gents are cloud chasers. Now, for me, it becomes sad when I hear that, because I'm just like, okay, are you against this growth and healing? Are you against the idea that women are being taught to literally stand and protect themselves against a guy that's going to manipulate them to get what they want or whatever the case is? Or are you just so afraid of your own healing that you don't want to engage in this? Like, how do you even respond to such a comment?
I don't engage with it. So storms are happening everywhere, Teho. It's when I acknowledge the storm that I become part of the storm. Chaos is happening everywhere. People's dysregulation is happening everywhere. Trauma is experienced everywhere. I'm not traumatized. I'm not in chaos. I'm not at odds with myself. For a person to say that without doing due diligence and finding out who the person is and their track record and the work that they've done and the impact that they have, you're not talking about me. You're actually not talking about me. So if I know that you're not talking about me and these are insecurities or these are experiences, your personal experiences, your projection of your personal emotions and feelings about those personal experiences, it has nothing to do with me what you think about me. It has nothing to do with me what you assume I am. Nothing at all. And so because I know that, I don't engage with it, I don't participate in it, I don't entertain it. Like, is him saying, or are these men saying that men who share this particular type of content are looking for brownie points, are looking to drop panties, are cloud chasers? In him, does the price of petrol change? Does he heal his inner child? Does he solve the issues that he has? In him saying that, in him responding like that, in him having that perspective. Because if it isn't, it's of no value.
People that I'm saying they're okay with being in their dysfunction because they feel like it helps them manage their day-to-day. So the same time.
Of course, it's when I see a lot of when we echo, if you and I have a fallout, and my whole entire environment is going to know about the fallout, the intricacies of the fallout and what I really think about you.
Yeah.
You're not the problem, I am. Because I could have easily come to you with all those things. I'm okay with knocking, like I was saying earlier, chipping your character down and letting everyone know this is how I think about you. And they should think about you like this. It absolves me of rising above whatever conflict you and I have. It divorces me of the responsibility to stand up and say, you know what, I had a fallout with Teho and I'm not okay with it. So I'm going to talk to Teho about this. And me and her, we're going to go through a process of self-evaluation and self-correction in order for us not to have this chaos as an identifier to what Teho and I are, or what our experiences of each other are. I'm going to charge myself for 3 months of working on the things that I feel are wrong about how I approach the situation. And hopefully Teho does the same thing, looking at how I'm doing it and looking at how I'm engaging with her with kindness and with compassion and with love and with respect, regardless of what happened. We're not charging ourselves with being more. We're charging ourselves with staying in the same type of chaos, in the same type of lack, in the same type of remorsefulness, in the same type of victimhood, in the same type of nothingness. Yeah. We're not rising above these pains by echoing what other people do and what other people don't, and what their character is and what our character isn't, and how they ain't this and they ain't that, and how we don't care about this and we don't care about that. Black women gain nothing from talking about how trashy Black men are. You're still entertaining it. You're still welcoming it. You're still it's in your vortex of attention, meaning you're okay with its existence. Because if you weren't okay with its existence, you'd be choosing better. You'd be doing better. You'd want more for yourself. You would enrich your experiences of other Black men, because we're not a monolith. Black women aren't a monolith. We're not one thing. We're not limited to scarcity or lack or financial trauma. We're not leading with into the must, you know?
You see?
We're not leading. Like there's so many. Whenever a person says men are this or women are this, there's a lot of pain in there. But we all need to be very compassionate too, but keep reminding this person, you have to work on that thing that you're disapproving of. You have to work on how you see yourself. And that because you're allowing that experience of them to be what you're seeing, what you're feeling. Because feelings are a choice, like thoughts. Thoughts are a choice. You know what I tell my mind? When my mind has something bad to say about something or someone, I'm like, nah,
not today.
Better thoughts, dude. I want greater thoughts than this. I want solution-based thoughts. I want amazing thoughts. Do you know how valuable my minute is to me? Every second of my life is valuable to me. You're not going to have me spend it with these thoughts. Because I'm regulating self. I'm here. In here is everything out here. If I don't start at the beginning of all that's out here, I lose it. So a person who's saying negative things about black men or black women or white men, this or da. We're limiting ourselves in our experience of the world and of other people, races, sexes, genders, we are putting ourselves in prison and celebrating being in it and making it fashionable for everyone to be in similar prisons. Because if we're all in similar prisons by saying black men are trash or women ain't this or women ain't that, I don't have to rise up above that because also, people are intimidated by progress.
Yeah, I agree to that. I agree with that. And in agree with that as well. So I did a session recently that allowed me to discover the root of where my traumas and everything stems from. Like you always say, you always have to go back to your childhood. And the things you discover stem from two people, your parents. And I discovered that the root of how a lot of things transpire in my life is rejection and fear. And I've known it for a long time because it's not even, especially when it comes to relationships or anything. Fear has been at the forefront of my life for so long in terms of speaking up for what I want or what I ask for, in terms of going for what I actually want to achieve, in terms of standing up for myself, whichever way that may look like. And then comes rejection with it as well. So when I do speak up for myself, I'm being rejected as to how I'm speaking up for myself. When I do ask for something, there's a rejection because you might not be good enough for that. And that becomes, because you don't know how to work or peel off those layers, they just keep building up and building up and building up. And 32 years later, you feel like you are a product or creation of fear and rejection. And now I'm just like, how do I get out of this space? That is possibly one of the reasons why I step back from recording, because I'm just like, when I'm doing this, I feel like there's an audience, and the audience that's there is just a bunch of naysayers, which is it can't be the picture in my head. I can't portray that, So obviously there's something that I have to fix and deal with deep down inside to just say, this can't be my life.
Yeah.
This can't be me.
Do you know about, so I'm gonna address all of that just to allude to or illuminate you and everyone that's listening. I do this thing with my clients where the very first session, pre-session, do you know anything about social contracts? Social contracts,
no.
Yeah. So social contracts it's an entrepreneurship thing, but I then use it in a therapeutic way. It's a declaration of how from this moment I'm going to show up. And everyone has to hold me accountable to it, right? So I said, I'm going to stop cussing. I've been checking myself because I have a social contract with over 100,000 people on social media, or 150,000 people on social, who are holding me accountable to that. And there's a punishment for it. There's a consequence for it. Every time I say a cuss word, I have to pay SARS 500 Rand. Do I like paying SARS? No, I hate paying subs,
Yeah.
but I have to do it to show it on screen every single time I cuss on screen, because I understand the influence that I have. So I'm illuminating the discovery of the root causes of your trauma or unmet needs or your pain and fears. After discovering, what are you doing with them? Is it just knowledge? Because knowledge isn't wisdom if you haven't practiced it.
Yeah.
You won't be proficient in being in having the fullest, richest experience of Teho's life if you don't practice the knowledge.
Yeah.
But is there knowledge on what to do with what I found? Because I can find someone on YouTube and I can listen to oh my God, yes, beautiful vocabulary. This is amazing. Oh, I know something about credit. I can echo it back. I can parrot it back to everyone. And everyone is going to think I'm smart and like, oh my God, where do you get this knowledge? Right? But am I going to the bank? Am I fixing my debt? Am I putting everything in the company name? Am I, talking to CIPC on a regular basis? Do my accountant? That's like do I have a money team now? Do I have people that are my lawyer? Do I have the trust? Do I have this? Do I have that? Have I put these things in place? And am I so efficient and so effective in them that was someone to come to me and say, hey, I've got these money blocks, my guy. Like, hey, done. This is what this is what you need to do. These are the people you need to go to. These are the people you need to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm giving you 6 weeks. It's going to be gone. It's going to be done. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. You don't have to worry about anything after 6 weeks of execution. People constantly say, my love language is da, 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 da. I'm like, trauma responses. My love language is action and execution on the knowledge I find, on the illumination, on the discovery. Action and execution is the only love language that's going to change your life. If you're not going to act on it, what was the use discovering? Only for you to improve your vocabulary on the victimhood, or for you to improve how you function moving forward. Do you understand? So I say this: social contracts improve on my function and my processes, right? Improve on my life and my lived experiences. I want to, how much more magical can this life get? Oh, damn, if I do a social contract and everyone is holding me accountable to it, I need to show up in the processes. I need to show up in the activity. I need to show up in the execution. I need to show up as the result of the thing that I socially committed to. But we do this thing when we're in therapy and we're healing, or when we are feeling guilty and shameful of our actions and our behavior, when we know better, but we don't do better. This is what we do. We withdraw from everyone. So we stop recording podcasts. We stop recording episodes. We stop putting the work out and then excusitis. The listeners are a bunch of naysayers. Now you're disqualifying the people that are listening to your podcast, disqualifying, absolving yourself of the responsibility of going into the process to execute on the knowledge that you now have. Yes, take a beat in finding out and getting clarity on what needs to be worked on. That's the root cause. Okay, this fear comes from this trauma comes from this. Now to do something about it. Is my inner child safe with me? It's not safe with my parents, but is it safe with me? Okay, it isn't, because I'm approaching my own inner child and my own life with the same fear and the same projections.
The formula hasn't changed.
Right? Okay, I just need to stop doing that. I need to stop doing that, and I need to make sure that I self-soothe, and I reparent, and I do this, and I do that, and I need to go to therapy that actually helps me with the thing, and gives me tools, and gives me processes, and gives me activity, and gives me the social contract that I go into with my sister and my family and my world. Because now, when I'm doing this therapy and I leave these sessions, I'm going to say, family, these are my boundaries now. You got, yes, when I talk about these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is your response. This response hurts me and invalidates me, and it makes me feel like crap. So I'm telling you what my boundaries are. I know you guys might not hear me right now, but every single day from this point where I'm talking to you guys like this right now, there's a boundary. Every single time I get invalidated, there's a consequence of my absence. Until we create a safe environment for everyone in this family to exist in peace and with love and with kindness and compassion, I can't be involved in the family. Yes, I have duties and I have responsibilities and I have this and I have that, and I will take care of my responsibilities. I'll be accountable for them, but I'm not accountable for how you project those fears to me. I will not participate in that. This is my boundary with you guys. You don't understand boundaries? I'll teach you what boundaries are. I will teach you what boundaries are. There's a consequence for how you treat me. And if you don't treat me how I want to be treated, I'm sorry, but you can't experience the richness of my being and the person that I'm becoming right now. Because when you do the inner work of healing that inner child and rescuing that inner child and keeping that inner child safety, she has to see you stand up for her, because your parents didn't do that. But you can't keep showing up in your life as your parents. Right? And now the social contract is with them, and it's with your following, and it was announced on your podcast. I'm going to keep telling you guys about my therapy experiences because I want you to grow with me. Now you have affinity with the following. You're not chipping them down and reducing them. You're not using excusitis to absolve yourself of the responsibility of going through due diligence and process through the clarity that you got about what's wrong. You're not sitting on what's wrong. You're not using what's wrong to be pitied by other people. No, what's wrong is it's an indication for me of the fact that I need to work on this. But we don't do the work. We don't do the work. We're lazy when it comes to ourselves. And then we get partners, and we get lovers, and we get friends, and we show up so incredibly for them. But we show up so incredibly for them because we're using that as a tool for them to do that work in us. It's a manipulation tactic how we show up for people in our lives. And then we want to blame them when you just taught them, you don't show up for yourself. You show up for everybody else. And when they don't show up for you and show up for themselves the way you taught them to show up for themselves, you get mad? No, don't get mad at people for what you taught them to treat you like. You're the teacher. Consistently and consistently, silently, vocally, verbally, physically, you're teaching people how to treat you. This is your doing. So if it's your doing and you don't like the feedback loop, you don't like the results, you don't like the activity that this thing is influencing, this thing that's configuring, these decision making, these choices that I'm making, this desire that I have, this pain that I'm projecting, and my activity in this world has results, and they keep coming back over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Am I okay with that? Am I also okay with complaining about that? Knowing complaining doesn't really do anything in your life. It doesn't change anything. You just took the heaviness of your life and you borrowed it to the next person. Now their life is heavier than it was before they talk to you. We have to be exemplary to every single person around us. And for us to be exemplary, there has to be a social contract. You have to pay SARS. I'm going to start calling it paying SARS. You have to pay SARS. I know I hit the studio there, right? But I have to, and I have to do that because if there is no impact in who we are and how we are, we don't change our environments. The next conversation or the next iteration of these conversations you and I have are going to be completely different. The dynamic is completely changed. It's completely shifted. And we have to keep doing that. We have to keep shifting it because I can't say that. That's in session.
I want to hear that. What are you going to say? You already went in.
Our reality isn't going to change until we change our internal reality of ourselves, the voice in our head, the voice in our hearts, the misalignment that we have of our thoughts and our feelings. If we don't change that, that's not what I wanted to say, but I'm summarizing it by saying that, right? We can't be okay finding out what's wrong and just sitting with what's wrong. That can't be okay. Yes, I'm afraid of talking to my dad. Yes, I'm afraid of talking to my mother. But they keep talking to me the way they're talking to me, and they keep reacting to me the way I'm reacting because I show up as the victim child. I don't show up as the adult. I don't show up as a person with the responsibility to take care of themselves. I keep showing up as that helpless little kid that's annoying to them because the helpless little kid is a reminder of the fact that they messed up. they didn't do such a pretty good job. This performance that they put for the world and the neighborhood of being the perfect family, they're not that. And I'm a constant reminder of that. This is what I'm silently doing to them. This is the deposit in my relationship with my parents. So if I'm a constant reminder in negativity of their failures to produce a great and incredible child that they can be proud of, that the neighborhood thinks this child is, I'm not, I'm failing, I'm messing up, I'm a mess. I got trauma, I have depression, I have anxiety, and you guys want me to perform with you. I will not do that. This is how you're showing up. This is how you're showing up. So if you know how despondent our parents are. These people are tough-skinned people, bro. If I keep reminding them of the fact that they failures in raising a child, a daughter or son, they constantly going to take me the way they've been taking me all along.
Yeah.
Because wow, how do we give you such a beautiful life? Or how do we give you this? How do we give you, like, how do we put a roof over your head and take you to school? And this is the thing.
This is the thing. Like
this is the things.
And the thing is, in the process of that, in the process of discovering ourselves and learning and everything else, we end up also making excuses for our parents.
Yeah.
And it's the excuse in fear of having the actual conversation. You're just like, oh, they did the best they could with what they had. Okay, yes. We're aware of that. How are we then moving from the currently right now? We're talking about then. How are we dealing with it now and moving from that? Instead of always saying, I'm not going to address this because I'm aware they did the best they could with what they had at the time. So how do we grow from that?
So it's the best they could do, the best that was, or the best that is, the best that you want, the best that was that's suitable. Did they best meet your expectations of what a parent is supposed to do? No, it isn't. It wasn't. The best they could do. Now, are you with the best that they could? Is that how you're going to treat yourself and your relationships? Is that how you're going to love yourself, talk to yourself, see yourself, value yourself, regard yourself, show up for yourself? No, that's not the best you can do. That's not the best you can do. You can do way better. They gave you the education. They gave you the tenacity to think outside the box. They gave you, they capacitated you somewhat. They capacitated you to a level they could possibly push you to. And in your own personal experience of yourself, you learned the best that they could do has produced these inefficiencies too. There's beauty in the way our parents raised us. There's absolute beauty in that. But you won't see that beauty, feel that beauty, acknowledge that beauty 100% if you don't study the inefficiencies and the badness of it and work on it. That's the duty, that's the process, that's the social contract, that's the personal contract and the social contract you have to go into, right? Because if you're only going to move in your world with the best they could do, your other people experiences is only of the best their parents could do. It's not of people who said, this is the best my parents could do, these are the inefficiencies, I worked on the inefficiencies and I'm successful in improving my life. I've mastered myself over those things. I've mustered up enough energy, enough resources, enough skill sets, never to go back to that place. You're not enjoying this. You're not enjoying the fullness of this.
Yeah.
You want it, you see it's possible. You know it exists, but you're not experiencing this. I know we have less than a minute.
Yeah.
Push yourself.
To have a part two.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But push yourself to in that pantheon of experiences.
I appreciate
That's how you do
so much, Hakeem. One of the important questions I wanted to ask you, I didn't get to, but I think we definitely need to have a part two for this because there's a few other things that definitely need to be answered. If we continue to create another link, it's going to be a 3-hour podcast. I appreciate
it. I got you.
Thank
you so much for having me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you to the end of it.
Please greet the family.
So much.
And we are putting out Falafella out there, but before that, people need to start from the base. And then we are